Sanbonani, Orange Army. My name is Zethembe M, and welcome to In Conversation here on UJTV. This is where we have conversations with the most relevant people that you need to know. And today is absolutely no different. We are chatting to the Central SRC President in the entire University of Johannesburg. I'm talking about the man who's going to be representing all of you. His name is Usisekelo Simelane, and he joins us for this conversation. Simelane mfowethu, sawubona.
Ninjani baba?
Ngiyaphila kunjani?
We're good.
Very excited to have you. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you for having me.
SRC President sounds heavy. Leadership is not something I think I would do. It's quite a hard thing to do right there, So I'd love for you to maybe let us know before we get in, deeper with this conversation as to where exactly did you know that leadership is something you'd love to pursue in the future?
High school.
Yeah.
Definitely high school. My entire life in tertiary, I've been a prefect.
Sure.
Then high school, my last year, grade 12, I was the head boy of my school, Kopera Mohadi. It was amazing. Yeah. That's why I saw that really I do have the passion to assist students and help wherever I can. And I mean, it's not really about a position thing. Sure. That's not why I do it. Sure. It's because I want to serve in larger and larger scopes.
Incredible stuff. And once again, congratulations on being elected. I think it is quite a feat in itself. Tell us about your vision. I think if you're getting into a position such as this one, it's quite important for the people you're going to be serving to understand what it is that are your goals, what it is that are going to be the things you hope to achieve throughout your term as SRC President.
Look, the first thing, and it speaks to our capacity as SRC members. Sure. Our history has not been the greatest one. Yeah. We've been known for not really good things. The drinking and partying and failing classes. But I want to bring back dignity of the SRC. Just that's what I want. For us to be more solution-minded. For us to be a trusted group wherein if you have no options, you run to us and we bring solutions over just complaints and more problems. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Dignity of the SRC members.
Incredible stuff.
Yes, yes. Definitely for the students, for them to have a great time at UJ. Of course, they're here to study. We must not forget that. Sure. But I'd love to give them experience. Yeah. For them to say, look, I went to UJ. And have them say, I had a great time at UJ. I grew at UJ. Holistically, not just with the academics, but also socially. I mean, confidence-wise, the soft skills, articulation. Sure. Yeah. That's what I want for students. Absolutely
love that. And I think if you decided to go for a position such as this one, because we don't just vote for you, you also take it upon yourself to say, hey, please vote for me, I would love to lead you. It means there is a gap that you could have seen, right? What are some of the challenges do you feel students are facing, and how do you plan to tackle them throughout your term as SRC President?
That is a broad term. Students are facing all sorts of challenges, but I mean, then we can categorize them. So we have finances, that's the funding. The biggest issue we're seeing, student funding, student debt. It is a big one. So we've tried to educate students because I think a big part of it is just lack of information. Sure. So we try to let them know that, look, you can go to your faculties, especially if you have good marks. Yeah. If you have good marks, you can't struggle with funding. So just reach out to the SRC. So we do have funding from bursaries, from faculty bursaries. So that's the first point of contact. If that fails, we have our finance office where students can go. There's literally offices where you can just ask for external bursaries. Yeah. They assist there as well. More than just that, with AODs, we have students acknowledge their dates and then they sign their forms, they present their pay slips or bank statements, and then we agree as to whether how much can you really pay towards your debts so you can just register and study. Okay. More than just that, we have the SRC Trust Fund as well, helping with funding in a lot of ways. We have your NSFAS, we have students with NSFAS applications and throughout the process. Funza Lushara, all of those things, so that's funding. Sure. Secondly, academics. Students tend to, struggle along the year as the year goes by. I mean, things do happen. Sometimes you lose a loved one. Sometimes you have relationship problems. Then, of course, your classes...
I've heard it's a pandemic over there.
Yes, it's a pandemic over there. Then, I mean, your studies get affected. You get an F7 somehow. Now you need someone to represent you. The SRC comes through for you. In those meetings with the deans and the faculties and the HODs and lecturers as well, we present you there and then we ensure that really if you had solid reasons for you to struggle with your studies, then we represent you and help you in that regard. Accommodation as well. We do advocate for students to get accommodation through POSAs because, I mean, as you would know, we have limited capacity on our campuses. So we do have POSAs, which is your off-campus accommodation. So then we also try to advocate that they go there as well. So, I mean, that's just the basics in terms of categories. There's
Yeah.
a much deeper scope as to what students go through in terms of challenges.
Love it. And I mean, what stands out for me would definitely be the SRC Trust Fund. I think one of the greatest initiatives I've seen come through from the SRC. How does that work for somebody who has not heard of that term, the SRC Trust Fund? How does it work, and does it benefit?
Look, so you just come to us and say, I just cannot afford registration fees. So that's where it all comes from.
Yeah.
Then you present your affidavits of unemployment, either from yourself or of your parents or whoever your guardians are. You just prove, I really just cannot afford to pay my registration fees. Then you apply online via ULink ITS Enabler. You just scroll through the tabs. The last tab at the bottom, you just see it there. It stands out. You just apply for the trust fund. And then, so we've seen students have an issue with their names getting approved. You just come through to offices, we take your name, and we see where really the delay is, and then we help you in that regard. And it is a great initiative. In fact, a budget of 20 million rand is appointed to it, allocated to it.
Incredible.
20 million rand.
And how many students are we looking at when we speak 20 million rand?
So it's thousands of students. But what happens is students along the year then tend to get funding, either from NSFAS or their own means or other bursaries. Then the number goes down. But in terms of what we approve during registration period, it's thousands of students. We're looking at about over 4,000 this registration. But as the year goes by, or as the year progresses, they get funding elsewhere. Then we have a small number towards the end, like around 1,000.
And maybe, are you planning to expand that reach? Do you feel like you're reaching enough students, or are you planning to say, as we go forward, we want to help even more students than the ones we're helping right now?
Of course. So as we work towards the reach, we've been focusing on its effectiveness. So over and above the registration fees, what we've done then is we've said, look, we have a remaining amount. For this year was 16 million rand. So we said, can we not reallocate this to clear half of the student debts? So we've done that. So while we work on reach, we're also working on effectiveness. So we've cleared about 800 of our students' fees, 50% of their fees, over 842, just a few weeks ago, for them to register, and they weren't blocked, then they managed to register.
Lovely. Absolutely. They're ready now for the academic year.
They're already studying then in class.
Incredible
That's
stuff.
a win.
But I mean, we can talk about these great things. There are some downsides that we normally see from time to time, one of them being that disconnect of some sort between the SRC and the people it represents, the students, right? That student engagement, are you aware of this disconnect where people don't know who is out there to help them, which is you guys, where people don't know where to knock when they need help? Are you aware of this disconnect, and is there something that you are planning to do about it?
It is a reality. In fact, towards the end of the year, students come through and we get, should I say, requests or other reports where students are asking, where are the SRC offices? I mean, you can't ask that around August or October or September. So it does happen. Not everyone knows about the SRC, but we are trying to push our name out there. So we have our media platforms for each and every campus, but some of the campuses are trying. In fact, we've been pushing it as well, that we have campaigns such as Know Your SRC. So they just post themselves, they do campus visits, they do res visits, as we'll be doing as well. So we do understand there is a pandemic, as you used the word before. They don't know about SRC. In fact, even closer to elections, when you approach a student and ask them to vote for you, but they say, but I don't know you, and you're an SRC member. So it is a problem, and it should not be like that. So we are working on it, as I've said. Media, definitely.
Love that you're putting measures to place to see how you can solve that issue. And I think as we speak of student engagement, one is asking themselves how you work around inclusivity then, because the moment we say students, the University of Johannesburg is a very diverse family. We've got blacks, we've got whites, we've got Indians, and even tribes. We're different in many ways. We've got people from even outside of the country. What are some of the things that you've put to place as SRC to ensure that you promote inclusivity in all that you do?
True. So the best approach towards tackling and advocating for inclusivity is through us advocating for societies. So students must join societies. The society is for everything, for churches, for sports, even soccer teams at this point. I heard there's some for soccer teams. Soccer teams. And we want to grow that, to even have societies for dance clubs, for debate society. So we are, as I've said, the best approach as we are seeing it now to advocate for inclusivity is for students to join societies. We have all sorts, for all religions as well.
Absolutely love that. And one is thinking that if you are representing students, it can't just end off there by finances and academics and all that. I know that the University of Johannesburg has many platforms where it does help students with academics and them thriving in their academic life. I'm talking about your writing centers, our academic development center as well. Are there some of those things within the SRC that you are pushing as a council to say, hey, here's what we have to offer for students to have a thriving academic life as well?
So true. So look, the SRC basically at its core, rather fundamentally, is just the link between students and the university's management and the resources, as you're mentioning it. So when they come through us, they tell us the queries they have, and then we address them as to where should you go exactly. If you're struggling with mental issues, we say PsychEd is here for you, because I mean, we're also students. So basically we're the link between them and the university. If they need help with navigating the university, we say, look, we have peer mentors and departments, approach them. Look, we have tutors and departments, approach them, speak to your lecturers and all sorts of things. So really what we are, again, is just a bridge. We show you where to go, and we walk with you, and we ensure you are assisted.
Incredible stuff, man. And I think as we near closing, I want us to touch on some of the lessons you've learned in the past. You are not serving the University of Johannesburg for the first time. Prior to you being the Central SRC President, you were actually the Deputy President in the APB SRC, right? Let me know what are some of the challenges you faced over there, lessons you took out of it, and how you're planning to, apply them now that you are Central SRC President.
Yes, so actually I was Deputy Chairperson of
Deputy
APB.
Chairperson,
yes,
all right.
Yes, so it's a smaller scope than president, to be president. But what we worked with in my capacity at the time as a deputy chairperson is transgressions. So students are caught in transgressions for all sorts of things, alcohol abuse or smoking in designated areas, cheating in your assessments, in your exams, plagiarizing. So I was working with that. And, through my experience, I got to work with students, especially ones who are vulnerable, to say, look, I have nowhere to go. Please assist me. And you just learn to be someone's pillar of strength. And you just learn to be supportive. And most importantly, you learn to be empathetic. To say, look, if they are maybe angry or they start shouting, you just understand they're just frustrated. It's not who they are. They're just faced with the challenge, and I mean, it is what it is. Then you learn to be more empathetic, and you just grow as a person. The more you gain perspectives into people's lives, you grow deeper as a person. And I think that's the biggest thing I learned, to be empathetic.
Yeah, and that is how you're going to, of course, be ushering into this new position of yours, which I'm thinking we're quite excited for, to see how that one unfolds. But as your term begins, as you get to work and all that, what do you hope to leave behind? What legacy do you hope to leave behind? What do you want us to remember Usisekelo Simelane as, after all has been said and done?
As someone who was genuinely for the students. Someone who was not in for the benefits or the privileges or the high seats, but someone who was really for the students. Someone who was relatable. Someone who would walk with you, take the bus with you if there was the need. Eat with you, sit with you, chat with you on campus. Not someone who was on a high roller coaster, but someone who was on the ground with students. Someone who was student-centered. I think that's the biggest part. And then someone who left an impact. And again, I always tell my team, it's not just me. I could never succeed as president in isolation. As an SRC, that was for the students. That's my biggest vision. People who were solution-minded, and they drove policies to alter them so that they help students even better. That's what I want. Impact in touching people's lives.
Man, absolutely love it. I wish you all the best in all that you do this year. Serve us well. Of course. Because we're going to hold you accountable. You're going to have to face us should things not go the way you've promised us they will. But I trust you, and all the best once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure absolutely love it. And there you have it, Orange Army. This is the man who's representing all of you. Your Central SRC President. His name is Usisekelo Simelane. This is In Conversation on UJTV. And once again, my name is Zethembe. Until next time, goodbye and God bless.